There's a star man waiting to you. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Slop or not? We're going to figure out, is David Bowie's music slop? Is David Bowie slop? We're going to figure out by looking at four little things. What is slop? We need to know that, right? And then how do we detect slop? Third, how much of David Bowie's music is in fact slop? And then fourth, is David Bowie talented regardless? And then we're going to use that to figure out, are people going to call David Bowie slop or not? Now, let's start with, what is slop, right? We have the music matrix here, energy, catchiness. Energy is pretty obvious, 0 to 11. Is there a mosh pit, or are people dancing, or are people sleeping, right? Yeah. And then catchiness, this is a little more difficult to pin down. But basically, if you're not a fan of one of these genres and the catchiness is less than 7, you're going to call it slop, unless maybe you're a fan of that genre. But even then, you might still, the stuff that's really not catchy, you're going to call it slop. If it's really catchy, people tend to either call it pop and or rock. Now, this doesn't mean if you have a really good indie song and it becomes really catchy, people stop calling it indie. They might call it indie pop or pop and indie. And if it's a good, punk band where it's a really catchy song, well, now it might become a punk rock song or a punk rock or a rock pop or pop punk rock song, right? Something like that. So now how do we figure out, this is obvious to figure out, how do we figure out the catchiness level? We're going to detect whether it's below a 7 catchiness, which is the definition of slop. We're going to look at this using the catchiness index. Oh my lord, the catchiness index. You might say, Lord of Darkness, wicked Prince of Destiny, Connor O'Farrell, how can you help me? And I'm going to show you right here. We got corny. This is predictability. A lot of things go into catchiness, but the easiest one that's a ballpark of if something is going to be slop, not slop, yada, 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 that can give us the most mileage out of just one thing we can look at is going to be predictability versus catchiness. Predictability, if you're all the way corny, totally predictable like a Joe Bonamassa song, or completely incoherent like a Mars Volta song, except for those good ones, you're going to be guaranteed to be in the slop zone. It's going to be duds, right? And so you're going to be here. If you're in between Back in Black, completely balanced in terms of predictability, and Bohemian Rhapsody, completely zany in terms of predictability, but not incoherent, you're going to be in the money zone here. But being in the money zone does not guarantee that you are not slop. You can still be slop. Look at this box here. And you can still just be something that's just for fans of that genre or fans of that artist, right? Let me move that up a little bit. Mickey Mouse! You could still be just for fans. You could only fans. Only fans. Or you could be slop, and you also could be hit quality or smash hit quality. Just because something did become a hit or didn't become a hit doesn't mean it wasn't hit quality. If I'm a Creep by Radiohead or Starman was released by someone who wasn't David Bowie or Radiohead, it still was a hit quality song even if it never took off, right? So we're not going off of did the song have to become a hit. We're going off of the actual quality because that's where people go. There's plenty of songs that you know that are great that no one else knows, right? Just because you didn't get lucky doesn't mean you wrote bad music. I really like the band Agent Orange. I think they made really good music. They didn't get lucky, right? It's an example. So now we're going to look at the catalog audit. Don't look too close because you might get spoiled. But here's an example how this works. This is quality versus quantity. This is the ratio of total slop that no one's going to like, stuff that everyone's going to like, hit quality stuff, and stuff that's just going to be for your fans or fans of that genre, B-sides or OnlyFans music. This is a pure OnlyFans model. Like Frank Zappa, Motorhead, or Slayer. If you like Frank Zappa, Motorhead, or Slayer, you're going to get a lot of mileage out of the catalog. If you don't like the shtick or their thing, then you're not going to get anything. Distinct is Weezer and Queen, which is a hit or quit. They've either got hits or quits. They've either got slop or top. Right? There's no sloppy top. It's sloppy top. This is the sloppy top category, either slop or top, right? Now, this is a 50-50 Led Zeppelin 9 Inch Nails where it's like 1/3 of the albums are garbage, 1/3 of the albums are really great, like everyone's going to like them, and the 1/3 is going to be great for the fans. They're going to get a lot of mileage out of it. One Hit Wonders, of course, Faith No More does not belong here. I need to actually change that. I went through and I actually listened to everything very carefully for the video that's coming up. And classic catalog, this is where it's almost entirely hits and then good stuff for fans. That's the Beatles, Metallica, Daft Punk, Rage Against the Machine. And here's the less than 50-50. This is where you get to a more controversial band. Likewise, with the Hit or Quits, you get a little bit of controversy there. It's because they're not one-hit wonders that get written off as being like, they're mostly slop, but they had one time they got lucky, so they're slop people. Or, it's not my taste, or they're a good band, but they have their bad stuff, right? You know what I mean? Or they're an all-time greatest of all time. This is where you get tricky, and this is where I think David Bowie ends up. David Bowie's got like 13,000 records, like Frank Zappa, but he's not got a lot of hits. He's got some hit-quality songs, and he's got some stuff for fans, but a lot of it's just garbage. Doesn't matter what type of David Bowie fan you are, you're going to consider a lot of it to be garbage. Probably more than 2/3 of it is going to be garbage in your opinion. You might really love a specific third, and the other David Bowie fans like the other third. You know what I mean? And then another third, and another third. But I think David Bowie this is inherently, he's a less than 50-50 artist. I think Limp Bizkit's there as well, right? So it's like, if you like their shtick, maybe, but then Bowie changed his shtick, and so maybe that's the shtick. Now, are they talented? This is one way to overcome the presence or lack of slop. That work? I don't even know what the frig happened. What the frig? Dude, I'm in the frig zone, but I'm in the end zone. Anyways, this is brand, musicianship, and songwriting. Brand is if you're Taylor Swift or you're friggin' Kim Kardashian at Walmart picking out a t-shirt that looks cool. Brand. If you're Metallica, you got brand. If you're David Bowie or Queen, you got brand. So they get a green there, which means excellent. They cooked. They ate. Now, musicianship, are people going to go and say, wow, that's a really good vocal, that's a really good guitar part, that's a really good bass line, I got to go learn it? They're going to say that a little for the guitar parts and definitely more for the singing because it's very unique. But overall, I would give them a okay. David Bowie's catalog is not like, I'm picking up the guitar, what are the coolest guitar riffs and things I could learn? Now, maybe there's some I want to learn the chords for that song or the chord progression in Starman might be really interesting. So that's why I'm giving him a yellow. But overall, no one's going, I really need to learn the drums and bass of that. I'm inspired to pick up the bass from listening to David Bowie. It's maybe you might be inspired to listen, so they'd agree in that. But overall, all the things in the David Bowie catalog, you're not getting a green from that. I'm sorry. Songwriting. See, it's got to be a broken clock is right twice a day. I got to say, when it hits, it's incredible, but it's going to be like a yellow, and it's going to be, I might put it at a red. And so that's going to say it's going to be controversial, because if you care just about brand, you're going to say it's going to be excellent. If you just care about musicianship, you're going to say it's okay. And if you just care about, if I care about songwriting and musicianship and I don't care about brand, I'm going to say, well, they're awful and they're decent, so they're not that good. David Bowie's not that good. But if I just care about brand and musicianship, I'm going to go, it's really good and it's okay. So I'm going to go, it's pretty good, right? So that's where you're going to get controversy, split decision. So that plus the catalog, it's going to make me think that people are going to have very wide opinions on David Bowie. It's not going to be unanimous, even if you like the same genres, because you might like those genres for different reasons. You might like the guitar parts at that energy level, or the lyrics at that energy level, or the brand at that energy. You know what I mean? So overall, I think people, though, they look at, now that we know the four things, what is slop, which is less than a 7, we know how to detect it, predictability on average, we know how much of the catalog is slop, and then we know if they're talented, and that lets us know how controversial they're going to be. Now let's look on the whiteboard. When people determine, do I think they're good or bad, they think, out of the songs I remember, where were they about? On average, out of the top 10 songs I can think of, where was their catchiness, where was their energy, right? So I'm going to say high controversy because people are split, right? This is my little board. I'm going to say musicianship, not getting it. Songs, but brand, you're definitely getting it. You're getting a good check. But then the catalog is mostly garbage and then barely any hits. But now, oh shoot, I don't want to write on myself. Oh my God. Wait a minute. Oh my God, I'm dropping everything. What's happening? I didn't know. I'm going to do quick math right here because normally I write down the average catchiness and energy, but I didn't do that here. But my top 10 songs are going to be Starman waiting for us here. He liked to do the duty and he liked to say your mind is a starman. And then under pressure, not on the line. Oh, we give ourselves one more chance. Oh, we give love one more chance. I'm a little tired in the voice department. Let's dance, starry moonlight, jolly moonlight, and if I just fall, I'll run for you. All my heart is true. Lay my heart and true. It's so good. That's a 10 on catchiness, right? And Space Oddity. Ooh, 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 ooh. This is ground control to Major Tom. Ding, ding, on the air. And is there anyone out there? No, is it life on Mars? Do, 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 do. It's a god-awful small affair. And they go with the Nazi hair. Down and down. Because Britain's on sale again. Down the Norfolk roads. Look at the lawman beating up the long man. Oh, no, not if you ever know. He's in the best-selling show. Look at the lawman beating up the wrong guy. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Such a banger. Banger. I love David Bowie. For the top 10 songs. That's what we're going to see. Rebel, rebel, down, rebel, rebel. Fame makes a man lick things over. Fame makes a man want to borrow. And I'm afraid of Americans. I'm afraid of the world. I'm the only one them. Down and down and down. And then Man Who Sold the World. I'm down, 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 down. I'm down, 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 down. A long, long time ago. Go. Oh no, not me. Take anything's control. A face to face with the man who sold the world. I'm an alligator, and all my mama, papa coming for you, and the Space Invader. Oh my God. Let your electric guy on me, babe. Put your ray gun to my skull. Freak out in a moon age daydream, oh yeah. It's too good, too good. So on average, I'm going to get, what is it, 3 10s. Picking on the phone line. It's probably like an 8.2, 8.5, something up there. But like, dude, it's so catchy on average. I mean, no. It's like a 9. It's like a 9. It's like an 8.8. And then on energy, it seems like a clear 6, 7. There's some 5s in there, some 3. You know what? It's slightly up. It's like a 6.1. It's probably like a 6.16 if I really had to. So 6.2 is probably my guess. Let's go. I'm doing quick maths. Quick maths. My mind's what is in it? Or actually, it's an extra 1 up divided by 10, so it's a 6.1. I'm a silly Billy. So it's a 6.1, but I wrote 6.2. And then the catchiness. But basically, okay, the catchiness is going to be like 9 point something. It's going to be like crazy, or 8.8. So overall, where would people say David Bowie is? Most people, if they think of those 10 songs, here's the problem. They have to go and listen to 10 good songs. If not, and they just have one song, a lot of these songs are different. People have different answers, different opinions. I picked more of the high energy David Bowie songs that puts them at a 6.2, which is slightly punkier David Bowie, which is what I like, but you kind of get into this indie range as well, I think. But then you go over boom, 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 boom to the rock pop range of catchiness. But the problem is I pick, and usually what people think of if they like a band or an artist, is they think of the highest energy and the catchiness, especially if they like rock. If they like pop, they think of the lower energy but catchy, right? And so then they're here, and their distribution might be here. If you plotted all the different songs from that artist, it might be a circle like this, but they think of the catchiest ones, right? And likewise, I think David Bowie's circle probably looks like this, but I just think of the rockiest ones. So that's where I put it. But because his discography has so much garbage, there's like 20 songs here and like 4 billion songs on this part. And so he takes up a big range here, but it's mostly here if you're looking at the whole catalog. But you don't. You have streaming. You don't listen to a whole album. You know, if it's bad, except for 3 songs, you listen to those 3 songs, make a playlist. Like, that's what it's a bad example because I think they actually do have like good whole albums is Slipknot. But I go to the gym and I just go my liked songs on Spotify by Slipknot, which is like 15 songs. I just click the play at the top and it goes through them all and it goes yes, California with the Morning Paradise. Oh, God, say California with the Morning Paradise. You know in my head. You know in my head. Can't do it right now. Outside by the eye out of the micro with the brain. Anyways, David Bowie, that's where I think it is. People are going to be split, though. People are going to say slop, pop. They're going to say punk, indie. They're going to say probably indie. A little bit punky, but they're going to say indie. They're going to say indie pop garbage. If they're a rock fan, since most of it's more in this range, they're going to say it's bad, pop, indie, whatever garbage. If they're a pop fan, they're going to say, they're great, I love David Bowie. Wasn't he like trans or something? Even though he was just an androgynous, as you come to find out later, straight dude, right? He's like, I said I was gay because I thought that would get me press and headlines. And he's just like, no, I was a straight dude, but I just thought I'm just out there. I'm provocative. So I was like, I thought it'd be provocative to say that. And then the gay community, that's like during AIDS when they're like, oh, we really need all hands on deck. And he's like, my hand was never in the deck. And so he's like, bye. They're like, what the heck? And he's like a pirate, like leaving the ship. He's like, boom, walk the plank. I never wanted this booty. Anyways, enough. Partial innuendos about David Bowie. David Bowie. David Bowie. Who do I look like? Who do I look like? Give me a, you look like that guy. Who do I look like? Give me a stereotype. Anyways, I'll see you in the next video.